been here before, my name is Debbie and I read a lot of books. I've literally just finished listening to the audiobook of I Will Ruin You by Linwood Barclay. I'm just going to get straight into that blurb for you so I can talk about the journey that this book took me on. Okay. Life can change in a heartbeat. When high school English teacher Richard Boyle comes face to face with an ex-student determined to commit an atrocity, his whole world changes. Thanks to his quick thinking, Richard averts a major tragedy and is hailed as a hero, with his face splashed across the media. But not all the attention coming his way is good. Somewhere out there, a memory is triggered by someone watching the news of the incident. A plan is hatched. When Richard receives the first threat, it's very clear. It's time to talk about what you did to me. As the situation spirals dangerously out of control, Richard is drawn into a fraught web of salacious accusations and deadly secrets. As he tries to uncover the truth, he discovers that there's something deeply wrong in his town, and that he has landed smack in the middle of it. Richard is desperate to find a way out, but everyone in his life seems to be hiding something, and trusting the wrong person could cost him everything he loves. So, it's in crime, thriller, psychological fiction, and it's 9 hours and 26 minutes to listen to. I did it on about 1.5 speed, so it wasn't quite as long as that for me. This book starts off with a bang, quite literally. The first part of the book is basically somebody turns up at the school threatening to blow it up, the school that he works at. And he manages to defuse the situation. Unfortunately, the person who wanted to blow up the school ends up killing himself in the process, and Richard is hailed as a hero for diverting it, but then there's also other things happening he's dealing with while working at the school, including a bunch of parents that have decided that they're not happy with the books that he's teaching. Yes, that becomes a whole to-do as well. It starts off with that horrible thing at the beginning. Fortunately, Richard manages to calm the guy down, tries to stop it from happening, and basically averts what would be a very, very big disaster and turns it into a slightly smaller one. The person does end up dying in the process, but it's kind of like that trolley situation. Do you kill lots of people, or do you just kill one person? And you have to make the choice. To be honest, Richard is not thinking of it as like the trolley problem. All he's trying to focus on is making sure that the school doesn't get blown up. That's not a spoiler, it is very much the very, very first part of the book. It happens pretty much straight away. But yeah, as it says in the blurb, it's the footage that makes it onto the news, where somebody looks at the TV and goes, that guy abused me when I went to that school. And it starts off a chain of events which involves Richard getting sued and then also blackmailed, and you're trying to understand who to trust. It's a bit of an unreliable narrator, you're not really sure who to trust. It's read by Jonathan McLean and George Newburn. I think Jonathan McLean did the other Linwood Barclay book that I listened to, The Lie Maker. Yeah, that was Jonathan McLean and Graham Halstead. There's a little tagline that says, a teacher's act of heroism inadvertently makes him the target of a dangerous blackmailer who will stop at nothing to get what he wants. And the tagline on the front is, one good turn might cost his life, referring to the fact that he did help to save a school, but in the process it put a target on his head because of what made it onto the news. And yeah, so Richard is basically spending the whole book trying to figure out why he's being blackmailed, and you see him with his wife Bonnie, and Bonnie's sister actually works with the police, so she's investigating things, and yeah, it's just it goes everywhere. And there were times when it was just like, I'm not completely sure if I trust everything Richard is saying through his chapters. I'm just there going, what if he did do something? When you see the chapter where the ex-student identified his abuser on the television, I'm just there thinking, there's something very real about that moment, and I'm just there thinking, was he pointing at Richard? Was he pointing at somebody else on the TV? You know, there's obviously something murky happening in the waters there. After the first section at the school where Richard kind of becomes a hero, I'll admit it did start to get a bit slower before picking back up again. Pace is a big thing for me, because it's one of those things where it's just like, it can feel like it drags before it really starts to get into the action. But when it gets into the action, it really is like page turn. Like, I didn't want to stop listening to it. Because like, I had about an hour and a half left to listen to it, and so I just thought, because I don't really listen to audiobooks on my days off, I usually keep it for like walking while I'm at work and listening to it in the car when I'm going places, so I don't really just like listen to audiobooks while I'm just mulling around the house. But this morning I was just like, you know what, I've got about an hour and a half. After I've had my shower, I'm going to pop it on while I'm getting ready for my day. I think I finished this about an hour ago, just letting it stew and sort out some bits on my computer. It's still kind of fresh in my mind, because it's one of those ones where it felt like, because of how quickly everything happened at the end, it kind of felt like one of those things which I think it was all wrapped up on the final page kind of situation. I read a couple of books like that. Is it like Dracula or something, where it literally feels like everything happens on the last 2 pages? It was clever. It keeps you guessing, and the fact that you do have that connection to the police through his wife, Bonnie's sister, and so there's points when she turns up and she's just like, I'm here not as a police woman, I'm here as your sister, and there's points when you even see the sister, is it Marta, try to defend herself in the fact that she is still investigating even when she's aware that it may involve her sister and her brother-in-law. And yeah, so as I said, like it gets murky at times, but it's kind of like when you're watching stuff like Holby City, watching medical shows and stuff where people are operating on their loved ones, and you're just like, you need to step back, mate. Stop it. That's how I felt with Marta in that bit. It's like a complete web. A web of lies. Yeah, as I said, you're just trying to figure out like who to believe, because as I said, there were points when I didn't completely trust Richard. I felt like there was something being held back about him that we weren't aware of, and then when he does kind of almost do the right thing and he talks to his wife about it, but then they're still keeping secrets and things, and it was just so clever. I'm keeping fairly quiet about where it goes because it just has so many different branches out, where I think even the smallest hint of where it possibly goes could lead to a bigger spoiler. But I did find it really clever, really good once I really got into like the gritty stuff. And yeah, I'm definitely keeping an eye out on more Linwood Barclay books. On here, there are a few more in the ebook section. I've already read The Light Maker, so I don't need to worry about that one. Look Both Ways. That says it's going to be available in December, so I can reserve that if I can. Yeah. And I'm trying to figure out if I've got many left. And then there's also Look Both Ways, which will be available in January. I might as well. Oh, it says I've already reserved Look Both Ways. Okay, so keep browsing. So figure out what I've already done. So when I look at what I've got going at the moment, I'm currently reading The Interview by C.M. Ewan and very much enjoying that. I'm really wondering where the hell that's going to end up, because it's a very, very baffling one. I've got When He Was Wicked by Julia Quinn, so that's Francesca's story. What book number is it? I haven't a clue. Is that book 6? I'm very aware that in previous videos I've completely gotten the order wrong, so just bear with me. I've got the audiobook of Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens on here, and I've also got The Handmaid's Tale. Yes, I have read The Handmaid's Tale before, but this one is the audiobook, which is actually read by Elizabeth Moss, Bradley Whitford, Amy Landecker and Anne Dowd. So it's just like, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to listen to that. Considering the fact that it's the cast of the show, like, I have to. I can only imagine how this is read by all 4 of them. And then on my reserves I've got After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid, The Girls by Lisa Jewell, Look Both Ways by Linwood Barclay, Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell, and then in the audiobooks I've got reserved The Wake Up Call by Beth O'Leary and The Life Impossible by Matt Haig. Now, The Wake Up Call is available to me in November, so it's not too far off for me at this point, but The Life Impossible is available to me in March next year. So I've got a bit of a wait on that one, but I am very much enjoying my reading experiences at the moment. And then on Kindle, what am I doing on Kindle at the moment? Still doing Rose Beaufort, and I'm just about to start book 4 there. And then I have just recently got the latest 3 books of the Blake Pierce Jessie Hunt series, which are The Perfect Crowd, The Perfect Poise and The Perfect Show. And then I'm still reading the T.J. Green books and Lars Kepler as well. So I have got a few things happening at the moment. So yeah, I've also got loads of old free books on here from back when I actually had a Kindle. So at some point I was going to have to go through everything next. There's series that I want to reread on there. Lots of classics like Dorian Gray, Great Expectations, Midsummer Night's Dream. I've got loads of Shakespeare, Othello, King Henry V, As You Like It, like all the Shakespeares that I haven't read, and we'll see how I go with that, because Shakespeare wasn't my favourite. Like, I do have my favourite plays based on what I've studied, but it's not a language that's very easy to understand, so I may have to take my time with that one. But yeah, I've just got lots of random books when I would just go like, what free books, what 99p books could I get? It's all the ones that have like really strange titles and slightly dodgy cover art. No disrespect, but some of them are a bit weird. Like, I've got this one called The Deadly Sister, where the cover art just looks really quite strange. It's like, what on earth is happening there? I feel like I need to read it just to understand what is going on in that picture. Like a naked man in the pool, a topless woman with a gun behind her back. It's just like, is this going to end up on Bad Women's Anatomy or something? Anyway, so thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already, and then I will see you next time with another video. Stay safe, everybody. I love you all. Goodbye. I can just see a bird bouncing on the tree. Why do I get so distracted when I film in front of this video? This is why I normally film in front of the very, very blank wardrobe. But I thought I'd give this a go for a bit. Yeah, it looked like the bird was treating the branch as a trampoline.